Hello and welcome into this week's edition of The Pole Position right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, welcome. This is a channel where we discuss lots of motorsports, namely NASCAR, ARCA, IndyCar, and Formula 1. We do plan to broaden that scope eventually, but for now, that's what we cover. So on today's edition of The Pole Position, this is where we give you a quick recap of everything that happened over the weekend from the series that we cover. So we've got two races from the Gateway Motorsport Park in Madison, Illinois, ARCA and NASCAR Trucks. We've got Formula 1 from France, IndyCar from Road America, and the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series from Sonoma. So let's get right into it, starting with the Gateway stuff. And don't forget, if you haven't done it already, you want a more in-depth recap of what happened in the NASCAR and the ARCA stuff. On here, we only go through the top 10 in the results. But if you want a more in-depth recap, you need to watch the rewind shows. Of course, we have a rewind show this week for the ARCA race, the truck race, and the NASCAR Cup race, where we break things down a lot more in-depth. Highlights, race results, exclusive winner interviews usually, and the point standings following each race. So you want to check those out, because they go much more in-depth if that's what you're looking for. But if you just want a quick recap of what happened over the weekend, this is the show for you. So let's get into the Gateway stuff, and we'll start off, of course, with ARCA, as they were the first race of the weekend on Friday night. The Papa Nicholas Coffee 150 there from Gateway Motorsports Park. Sheldon Creed picks up his second win of the season in this race with a MDM 1-2-3 finish. Chase Purdy and Harrison Burton in second and third. Christian Eckes probably had one of the two best cars on the night. He and Sheldon Creed had a little bit of drama there at the end of the race. Fourth was where he could muster on the night after the drama. Riley Herbst had a very back and forth night with problems on pit road. Salvages a top 5 finish there though in fifth. Rest of your top 10, Gus Dean, Anthony Alfredo making his ARCA Racing Series debut. He's been a regular for MDM on the K&N Series this year, making his first start in ARCA on Friday night with a respectable 7th place finish. Joe Graff Jr., Travis Braden, and Brett Holmes rounded out the top 10. So let's move on to the other race of the weekend from Gateway, and that was the Truck Series, and this title is a mouthful. It's the 5th annual Villa Lighting Delivers the Eaton 200 presented by CK Power. I don't know that they could have gotten a much longer name for this race, but you know what? As long as there's a sponsor, that's what matters, I guess. So, 160 laps from the Gateway Motorsports Park on this 1.25 mile, kind of egg-shaped oval. Kind of looks like Darlington, kind of doesn't. Justin Haley picks up his first career Truck Series victory after holding off the field on a couple of late restarts in the final 10 laps. Todd Gilliland coming oh so close to his first career Truck Series victory there in second. Johnny Sauter in third, Myatt Snyder and Zane Smith rounded out the top 5. Zane Smith in his first career Truck Series start. We've seen him a lot on the ARCA side of things this year, driving for MDM Motorsports. Good to see him with a successful start to his truck career. Rest of your top 10, Chad Finley, Jesse Little, Riley Herbst also making his first Truck Series start. We have also seen him a lot on the ARCA side of things. Cody Coughlin and Noah Gragson rounded out the top 10. Alright, so now we will move on to Sunday. And the first race of Sunday was Formula 1 from France, the Pirelli Grand Prix de France. I think I said that right. Not great with a French accent, but I think I said that right. Lewis Hamilton picks up yet another victory on the season. He was pretty untouchable in this race. Max Verstappen came home with an impressive second place finish, and Kimi Räikkönen also finishing on the podium, stealing that third place from Daniel Ricciardo late in the race. Ricciardo got some debris stuck in his front wing, which really slowed him down in the final laps, and that allowed Kimi Räikkönen to slip by and get a podium. Ricciardo there finishing in fourth, though, and Sebastian Vettel, Räikkönen's teammate, coming home in the fifth position. Rest of your top 10, Kevin Magnussen for Haas Ferrari comes home in 6th. Valtteri Bottas 7th. Carlos Sainz, Nico Hulkenberg, and Charles Leclerc, the final car receiving points, in the 10th position. Alright, so that was the French Grand Prix. Now let's slide over to the other open wheel race of the weekend. That was the Kohler Grand Prix for the Verizon IndyCar Series from Road America. Joseph Newgarden picking up another victory in this one. Pretty much dominated the day. There wasn't really much touching Joseph Newgarden yesterday. He was pretty dominant from Road America. Ryan Hunter-Reay kept him in his sights most of the day, especially at the end of the race. Just couldn't really do anything with Newgarden. Scott Dixon there in third. Rest of your top five was Takuma Sato and Robert Wickens. Now as we round out the top 10 here, we see Graham Rahal, Simon Pagenaud, Spencer Pigot, Ed Jones, and James Hinchcliffe picking up a top 10 finish. So that was your results for the Kohler Grand Prix for the Verizon IndyCar Series. Now we will wrap up things with the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, as they were the final race of the weekend, at least in terms of the series that we cover. For the 30th annual Toyota Save Mart 350 from the Sonoma Raceway, 110 laps around this 1.99 mile road course in wine country in Southern California. Martin Truex Jr. picks up his third victory of the season, 18th of his career. Second at Sonoma. Picked up the win a few years ago in that 56 car for Michael Waltrip Racing back in the day. Kevin Harvick, Clint Bowyer had fairly even cars with Martin Truex on the day. Just couldn't do much with him at the end due to pit strategy. Martin had such a huge lead built up because of his pit strategy. There just wasn't enough time for Harvick and Bowyer to track him down. Chase Elliott comes home in the fourth position with Kyle Busch rounding out the top five. Rest of your top 10, the other Busch brother there in sixth, that's Kurt Busch. Eric Jones, Eric Almirola, Alex Bowman, and Denny Hamlin rounds out the top 10. So that's your results for the Toyota Save Mart 350, and that, I believe, will do it for us tonight on the pole position. Like I said, if you want more in-depth recaps of the Cup race, the Truck race, or the ARCA race, be sure to go back and check out the Rewind shows. They were the previous videos put up to this one on the channel, so you want to go check that out as if you want a more in-depth recap of these races. So if you haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing from Racing News Now. And hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It is much appreciated when you do. So with that, this has been the pole position where you always start on the front row. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.